The following is a non-profit horror story narration. The story, narrated with full permission and cooperation, is written and owned by the author, who is credited in the subject line and in the description down below, along with a link to the original story. This video may contain some material such as violence, creepiness, jump scares, adult language, and suggested content which may not be suitable for some viewers. Please support the official release, and viewer discretion is advised.
Jonathan's yell of anger was as audible as the sound of Lisbeth's body hitting the asphalt parking lot. "Darn it!" he said as the sound of a wall being hit became audible. It felt silent for a moment after that. Then he spoke. "Well, come on, kid. It's over." In that moment, something inside me broke. I became fragmented. I turned around and raised the gun and shot Johnathan straight into the abdomen. He was shocked and taken completely off guard. "You killed her," I said as ideas on how I would make him suffer went through my head. He screamed in pain as I walked towards him and shot his right hand, missing the first 2 shots, but I hit him on the third, causing the gun to fall out of his hand. He continued to scream in pain as I got close to him and pushed the hot barrel up against his cheek. "You took her. You took the last thing I cared about!" I yelled at him as his face was covered in absolute horror. I shot his right arm in point-blank range, then his left leg, and pushed the barrel up against his right palm. He screamed in agony as I picked up his pistol and left him there to bleed out. "Brian, please," he managed to utter out as I stepped onto the staircase. It was then the most chilling and disturbing laugh came out of me. I was laughing insanely as I turned back to him and smirked. "I'll make sure no one knows you're here," I said as I turned around again and went down the stairs to the bottom floor, delighting in what I had just done. But it was necessary in order to protect us. As I was walking out with the sun setting, I saw the stoner again. His eyes were barely open as he saw me and slightly moved his head. He could be a threat. I smirked at him and aimed the gun at his head, point blank. The gunshot rang out through the building, and the only thing left there was 2 corpses. As I was walking out, I heard a group of people suddenly come to a halt. When I looked up at the origin of the noise, I saw the 4 men and John 15 feet or so away. I smiled a wide smile and raised the pistol, ready to shoot. They all had a look of disbelief on their face. But John, he had an insane smirk on his face. I shot at them until I had used the remaining 8 bullets, until I had hit all of the men. Except John. He had grabbed one of the men and used him as a shield as he backed away from me. I started laughing insanely, but when I heard John's giggle, I shut up and stared at him. He was the real threat. The other men were crawling on the ground, trying not to bleed out. He threw the body he had used for protection to the side and opened his arms wide, waiting for me to shoot. I tried to shoot at him, but the clip was empty. He laughed as he covered his arms, went back by his side, and covered his face with his right hand. I threw the gun and went for the other one I got from Johnathan, but as I did, he ran at me with a knife and stabbed me in the lower stomach with his right hand. Then he used his left hand to swat the gun out of my hand, letting out a chuckle. I like you, kid, he said with a straight face and insane eyes as he lifted me by the throat. I clawed at his hand that was choking me as he tightened his grip. I have to protect us. I'm going to kill you. I choked out as I grabbed the knife on my left side and pulled it out. The adrenaline was keeping me from feeling the pain, and he just looked at me in awe. I grabbed the knife and stabbed his forearm, causing him to drop me. As I fell to the ground, I scurried towards the gun as Johnathan pulled the knife out of his forearm. As I went to grab the pistol, his foot stomped on it, and I was kicked right in the jaw. I know what you're going through right now. It's the initial break. The thirst that caused pain is all you care about right now, he said as he wiped the blood off the knife onto his pants. But you see, once an animal has been broken, it has to be trained, he said with a grin as he put his foot on my chest, slowly putting more force into it. But you're not ready to be trained yet, he said as he removed his foot and took the safety off the gun. I hurried to my feet and went to attack him when he hit me with the back of the gun. You have 10 seconds, he said as he took the safety off the gun and fired a shot right next to my foot into the ground. He's a threat, but I need to protect us. I took the chance and started sprinting as fast as I could, using one of my hands to hold my stab wound in my back clothes. Then after 10 seconds, I ran down a series of alleyways. Eventually, I began to walk, using the alleyways to help me stand and walk. Oh my, I heard from one end of the alley. I turned quickly to see a short girl, shorter than me. You need help, she said as she approached me. Stay away from me, I said to her as I gave her a stare of death. She was a threat. I can't just leave you here. Let me help you, she said as she put my arm over her neck and helped me walk. We walked to a fairly decent rundown apartment complex. Once getting to the 3rd floor, she put me on the couch and put some gauze and treated my stab wound. I could feel exhaustion setting in as I rested on her couch. How old are you? She asked me as I laid there. 13. You? I said, keeping a straight face while I planned. 15. You're kind of tall for your age, though. You look as if you're my age, she said with a smile. And she looked as if she was 12. She looked weak too, and she struggled just to help me walk. I sat up, pain going through my lower body as I did. You shouldn't get up, she said as I stood up and looked at her for a moment. Right behind her was a glass door, leading to a balcony. I grabbed her and threw her through the sliding glass door onto the balcony. She landed on her back, disoriented, as I walked through the broken glass and began to choke her. As she recovered, she tried to resist, but she was easily overpowered. She tried to rip my hands away as she gasped for air. Her pupils extremely dilated, and her eyes called out for help. They were the same eyes I'd seen on Lisbeth and mother. My grip tightened as she struggled. Please, she said as her limbs began to weaken. Then finally, she stopped moving. Must protect. Must get revenge. Then I began to laugh maniacally as I got up. I stepped back inside and covered my hands with a towel and wiped her neck repeatedly, hoping to get any residue left behind by my hands. I grabbed a kitchen knife and then used a towel to open the door to the apartment and close it. As I left, I threw the towel in a dumpster and hid the kitchen knife in my pocket. This was the beginning of my second problem. This was the beginning of him. Ultimately, he is me, and I, him. Until my next confession.